There's really only two things you can do with the sine law. You can use it to find the length of one of the sides of a triangle, or you can use it to find an unknown angle in a triangle. And that's what this clip's all about, how to find an unknown angle in a triangle. So I'll start you off with an example problem on the left side, and then on paper later on you can try your own practice problem, and I'll present the solution over here on the right when you're ready. So let's go ahead and have a look at our example problem. We've been given a triangle that looks like this, and we're being asked to find the measure of the unknown angle. The unknown angle, well, that's indicated right here by these two red lines. So we're solving for angle B in this question. Now, in order to use the sine law, I need to find at least a matching angle and side length, and as well as one more piece of information. And I can see I have that. Angle A is given as 80, and then its opposite side has a side length of 10.2. And I have one more piece of information here, 6.4 meters, which matches the unknown angle, angle B. So we're in luck. I can go ahead and use the sine law. So let's go to step 1. If you'll remember, the sine law compares two ratios, or two fractions. It has an equal sign in between them. And those fractions are the angles and their matching side lengths. So let me show you the ratio that we'll write out first. I'll compare the sine of the missing angle, which I'll call B, and its side length that matches, which is 6.4, equal to another matching pair. And this is why we need a matching set. I'm going to say sine 80 divided by its matching side length, which is 10.2. And there we go. I've set up the sine law comparing two ratios. Now the only unknown in this equation is right here, B, so we can solve for that. But we'll need to do some cross multiplication. Cross multiplying means I'll take 10.2 and multiply it with the sine of angle B, and that'll be equal to 6.4 multiplied by the sine of 80. So let's write that out. 10.2 multiplied by the sine of B, and it's equal to 6.4 multiplied by the sine of 80. Okay, great. This is coming along nicely. Now I need to isolate for this part, sine of B, because it has my variable. Since there's a 10.2 multiplying it, I'll divide both sides by 10.2. All right. What that in effect does is it cancels out the 10.2 on the top and the bottom over here. And I'm just left with sine B is equal to the remainder here, 6.4 sine 80 divided by 10.2. From here, if we'd like to clean this up a little bit, we could go ahead and enter this entire fraction on our calculator and get our answer for sine of B. So let's do that first. I'm just going to say 6.4. It's multiplied with the sine of 80. I'll hit enter to get my answer for the top of the fraction. Then I'll divide it by 10.2 and hit enter again. And here's my answer, 0.6179. 4 decimal places should be fine. 6179. So the sine of B is equal to 0.6179. From here, since I'm solving for an angle, this angle B, I'm going to need to use my inverse sine button on my calculator. So I would like to write that out first. I'll say B is equal to, now inverse sine is that little -1 exponent. And then I just keep whatever I had there, 0.6179. This I can enter directly on my calculator. So I'll just make a note that B is equal to, I'll go ahead and bring up my calculator, and I need my inverse sine button, which is usually a second function right above your sine button. So hunt for that. And I'll hit Shift Sine. Then I'll punch in my number, 0.6179. Then I hit enter. And this is my answer in degrees, 38. We'll say 38 degrees. So angle B is equal to 38 degrees. And that is an example of how you would use the sine law to find an unknown angle in a triangle. So just remember, the first thing you need to do is set up your two ratios with an equal sign in between. There are a matching angle and side length for both. Then we cross multiply, and then it's just a matter of doing some math to isolate for sine b. Then we'll use our inverse sine button on our calculator to solve for the unknown angle. Now it's your turn to practice using the sine law to find an unknown angle in a triangle. I'll give you this triangle, and you're asked to find the measure of the unknown angle. The unknown angle is angle C. So try out the steps I showed you on the left. It turns out angle C is 21 degrees, and we found that by setting up our two matching ratios. Then we cross multiplied. Finally, we need to isolate for sine C, so we divide both sides by 32, and then rearrange to get 0.3566. And finally, we need to use our inverse sine on our calculator to arrive at C equals 21 degrees.